believe it or not everyone solves their problems with their fists.
2 girls?
2.
You want to tag along for an exorcism?
Yep.
That's out of the bloody question, love.
Well, we gave you its name, so you owe us.
Well, I gave you your soul, so you owe me indefinitely.
All the more reason for me to help you.
How is Fitz even here?
I don't know. He just showed up out of nowhere with his own spaceship.
It's a baller move. Not to mention the whole bounty hunter look he's rocking.
I still prefer my cardigans.
Everybody, someone is showing me a bunch of signatures he's gotten at
the autography. I went to Wizard World,
Columbus. Cleveland.
This one was Cleveland. So
very cool.
Welcome to Fandom Zone, everybody. Episode 131.
131.
Yeah, we're back.
Are we going to do something special at 150 now?
Probably.
We better start planning.
I know, because it's us.
That's right.
Yeah, but
so 131 of the Fandom Zone. I am Karen.
And I'm Charles. Welcome back, everybody. And
this time guest starring Karen's hair.
Yay!
My hair is
her naturally curly hair.
That's right.
Yep, she does. She
I'm doing the Frida thing.
Yep, she kind of buffs it up there.
That's right.
Yep.
If you know Frida from the
Peanuts cartoons.
Peanuts cartoon, I'm doing the Frida
the
thing.
Charlie Brown cartoons, yeah.
That's right.
So I went to Wizard World Cleveland, and because a certain David Tennant was going to be there,
right,
and I had missed my opportunity to get his autograph here in Columbus. So Lori and I drove 2.5 hours up to the beautiful shores of Lake Erie.
Very nice.
And met David Tennant.
Charles and Lori.
Yeah, from David Tennant, who was really cool. I talked more about this on Next Stop Everywhere, so shameless plug. But
it's a nice picture of him all leaning on his knee and everything.
Yeah, I thought it was a little different than some of the others. I kind of like the little kind of doctory scowl, serious, but yet very Tennant expression. As he
Neanderthal forehead.
But he had a ton of people in line, of course. And obviously because of Doctor Who and Jessica Jones and Broadchurch and other things, Harry Potter. And,
of course, Harry Potter.
And so I was concerned that, he just would sign and just move us along. No, he actually gave us a few minutes, talked about it. Lori thanked him profusely for getting her into Doctor Who. And I got to thank him for doing the returning as the 10th Doctor for the Big Finish audio adventures that he's doing with Billy Piper and Catherine Tate. And then also I told him how much I was looking forward to him as Crowley in the adaptation of Good Omens because I'm a huge Neil Gaiman fan.
Yeah. I love that he's signed up for that.
Yeah, so he warned me. He said, I hope you feel that after watching me.
Oh yes, we'll still feel that after watching you.
Exactly. So
no worries.
So yeah, I got to meet old Kilgrave himself, David Tennant.
Excellent.
And then got to meet Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg in the Justice League movie.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Got his autograph. Ray Fisher was very nice. Took his time with me as well. We talked about, that he got to meet Marv Wolfman at the Justice League premiere.
Very nice.
They were talking about Cyborg and stuff, and so and Marv gave him his official Okie Dokie seal of approval.
Excellent.
As Cyborg, so that was cool. And then met Ezra Fisher, who is a bit of a hit with the young ladies these days after his appearance in Harry Potter as Credence, I believe, or and
Whatever.
whatever Creevy thing or I forget what it is. Yeah. But so he's in that in the Fantastic Beasts movie. Mm-hmm. But of course, known to comic book fans as the Flash from the Justice League. Yeah. And he was so fast that all he gave me was his signature, and we just moved right along.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, fair warning.
Not a huge fan service guy, huh?
Yeah, kind of, pretty much.
Mm. But and then
but then
the first one you showed me.
Yes, Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
John Constantine himself.
So
and Matt Ryan signed it. Charles and Lori, great to meet you. Lots of love. Matt Ryan.
So nice.
Yep.
Did he talk to you?
He did talk to me. He was very nice. He took his time with everybody that was in line. He had quite a selection of people. He wasn't just like one or two people. He had a good line himself.
That's excellent.
And lots of Constantine fans. And
I'm glad he talked to you. That's good to know that he's
And I got to find out a little tidbit.
About the last episode
about the Constantine CW Seed series.
Oh, okay.
That's coming out here next weekend.
Excellent.
And apparently it's going to be based on the Hellblazer graphic novel, All His Engines.
Oh, really?
Really, really.
Excellent.
So, which is really good, and I just actually recently reread that. So we talked about that a little bit because I told him I was a big Hellblazer buff from back in the day. And
did you tell him you know someone who liked him from way back?
Yeah. And we talked about that.
Like from Swamp Thing?
Yeah, and we talked about his recent appearance on Legends of Tomorrow. So we talked a lot about like the scene where he's making out with Sarah, and they get busy, and the two characters playing off each other really well, and he seemed actually genuinely interested in what we had to say. Was like very outgoing. So if you get the chance to meet Matt Ryan, highly recommended.
Excellent. Maybe he'll come to DragonCon.
He might, but he seems like he's perfectly willing to do more, and we know that he's going to be appearing once again as Constantine in next week's Legends of Tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So can't wait to. So obviously we're going to talk about that next week.
We are,
or the week after. Yeah, it'd be the week after. Week after that. Yeah, because we're still playing catch up.
We are.
So speaking of catch up, and I'll let you set the table there.
And mustard.
Yes, following Karen's Brain Hurts.
Oh my God! Yes, I'm still having it because yesterday,
Gumbies from Monty Python.
Yeah, the Gumbies. Yesterday it was cold air, and today it's warm, so I'm getting a little bit of it today, and that kind of confirms that it's a pressure issue.
But I gather it's gotten better.
Yeah, it did get better. Things have stabilized here weather-wise. A little more than they had been. So once that happened, my headache started getting a little better, and I was preempting it with like Tylenol and stuff. So once we kind of nailed down what it was, it felt a little better. I still have to go get the EEG. They want me to have that.
The one they keep canceling on you?
Yes. Because they only give it 1 day a week, and if the girl's not there, she's not there, and yeah. So, it's going to be like in a week and a half or something like that now.
Well, best wishes for your EEG.
Yeah. I love that, especially with all this hair, because they put the little leads all over my head.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure they've done other female patients, so this is probably not their first.
Oh yeah, they do it all the time. Yeah. But then I get home and I have to wash all of the glue out of my head. Yeah, it's all like gummy. Yeah. So that's fun, and so I have to wash it before I go because there can't be anything in my hair.
Right.
No product or anything, and then I have to wash it after I come home.
Although apparently shampoo's okay.
You have to rinse it all out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like you have to rinse and rinse.
Okay, got it.
Right.
All right.
So anyway, that's, personal. But now that, hopefully I'll be back to normal soon. Moving was not great for my brain. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Moving good for everything else.
Well, hopefully you're acclimating to your new climate.
Yeah. Elevation. There was an elevation change.
Elevation. Woo! I'm sorry, you two. I got channeling you two there.
So there was a bit of an elevation change and then pressure from the weather change. And of course, this winter has been weirder than most. So.
But everything's okay, really.
Right.
No climate change.
No global warming here.
Nothing going on. Nothing to see here.
Of course, if it's colder, it can't be global warming.
Yep.
No, it can't be the fact that, things are melting.
As Leslie Nielsen from Naked Gun says, well, a house is burning behind him. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Move along. Yeah,
yep.
Exactly. So anyway, that's the dealio. That's why I have been slacking on my duties. I am incredibly sorry. I'm getting back to the podcasting.
As I've said always and repeatedly, your health is the most important. I understand this, and I hope everybody else out there understands that as well.
Yeah.
You guys,
you realize it's not that I couldn't get to the microphone, it's that you guys wouldn't have wanted to hear me. I would have been like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
I mean, we
don't want to hear you suffering.
This is what I'm saying.
I hate the idea of you suffering, so I'm glad you're doing better.
I am, thank you.
I'm glad you're back if you feel good enough to talk.
Yes.
So before we jinx it any further, we should probably get going. Let's start talking.
So we're going to talk about Lucifer 316. We're we're trying something new.
Yes.
Hopefully this will be our first of many like this.
Yeah.
We picked 4 episodes out of the things that aired at the week ending March 10th.
Right.
And these are what we're going to talk about. And then we're going to also, starting on the next week, talk about 3 Jessica Jones on the second half of the episode.
Yeah.
So,
or maybe we could always just make it a separate episode because it's kind of, Jessica Jones themed episode. So
okay. So we'll do one episode that's 4 shows.
like the regular type of episode.
Okay, and then one episode that's Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just decided to pick Gotham,
right?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Lucifer, and Flash. And here's why. Gotham, because it had a very important milestone in it. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because it was the 100th episode.
Yeah.
Lucifer, because it also had an interesting cameo in it.
Yes.
And cameo is an in-character cameo. And then Flash, because we had an appearance of a long...
Well, we have 2 missing characters that have been gone for a while. And also, it was a really great episode.
It was a good episode. I agree.
So I really wanted to talk about this because, the Flash has been kind of like, hit or miss in a lot of ways lately.
It has.
So I really wanted to talk about something that was really outstanding.
And the rest of the shows weren't terrible. It's just that these 4 were the ones we picked to talk about.
Right.
And that's what we're going to do. I mean, you can send in feedback for any show that's on, and we'll definitely talk about that. If you send in feedback for something and we have an opinion on it or whatever, that's fine. We'll talk about that as well. But we'll pick 4 episodes and talk about those. And then the rest of them will just be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You guys.
We've come to this realization. Something I've kind of come to a while back, but now it's just kind of becoming readily apparent that there are so many shows now.
So many shows.
And it's really hard to review them all and do them justice. I mean, we could just breeze through these really quickly, but we couldn't really get into any in-depth analysis.
Yeah. And we'd rather actually talk about them.
Yeah. In some episodes, you don't really want to, they're just kind of meh, and you're just like, well, I don't want to waste everybody's time, because they may decide it's also meh and not really stuff they care about. So,
plus, I got to come up with all these storyline titles. And
right. Yeah.
to do that for
Karen does a lot of work into our show notes for the week. So
now, mind you,
and so obviously with everything going on health-wise, it makes sense to okay, let's lighten Karen's load a little, guys. And I hope you guys understand that. And if you're cool with that.
But this time you helped, which is great.
Yep. I tried to do my part and chip in.
Fantastic. Yep. I enjoyed it.
Hope you like my titles.
I do. All right. So we're going to start with Lucifer,
Yep.
316, Infernal Guinea Pig.
Yes, written by Jen Cow and Julia Fontana. Directed by everybody's favorite director, Eagle Eagleson.
I knew exactly who you meant as soon as you said it. And my storyline titles.
Every
and
time I saw that, come up during the episode, I just do this internal smile.
Yeah,
as I'm watching
I know.
this.
I love.
Lori's like looking at me like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Nothing."
Nothing.
Girly giggles.
By the way,
The eagle has landed.
Did you see the report on that guy that killed like 100 hawks on his property or whatever?
No.
Oh, I'm very upset about it.
It wasn't one of the Trump brothers, was it?
No.
Okay.
It's like a 50-year-old guy, and they took him to jail, but they're going to fine him.
Things.
They're going to fine him like $5,000 for each one they find on his property.
Good.
So I agree.
They should.
I agree. Okay. Anyway, storyline titles: A story, unable to start over.
I see what you did there.
Get it? Never bring an angel to a demon fight.
I would have gone with disabled. Because you're dissing Abel.
That's very nice.
You like that?
Very nice.
But yours is nice too.
I like that. Okay. You wrote Control Freaky Friday. Now,
yes.
What did you mean by that?
Control Freaky Friday, that's obviously Charlotte.
Yeah.
Who's having some serious control. We find out that she's a big old control freak, and she talks to Dr. Linda about it.
Right.
So,
I was going to say something like knocking on hell's door or something like that, because she kept...
Yeah.
She knows that she was reliving this nightmare over and over. But Control Freaky... It's the same storyline that we're talking about. So
I was just, I was just like Control Freak kind of popped in my head first, because
I like that.
This is like a last minute thing. So
Control Freaky Friday. That's very good. I like it.
All right.
And / knocking on hell's door. It's a different part of that same storyline. You were talking about the Control Freak part, and I was talking about her reliving the thing. Now, mind you, the reliving the hell thing is the mirror to the Abel storyline, because Abel lived that whole thing over and over again, and now she's in the real world, and Charlotte is in that same spot. Now she doesn't know that she was in hell.
Yes.
I don't think she realizes that's what was happening to her.
Well, she's starting to piece together, because we might as well talk about this now since we already started.
I think we should.
So Charlotte tells Dr. Linda during a session that, well, one, she reveals that she's a big old control freak.
Right.
But she's been trying to, and the discussion turns into, well, Charlotte's trying to control her own therapy and win, to win therapy, and Dr. Linda's like, you can't win therapy.
No.
That's not the point. Right. You just don't get it. You don't. Mm-hmm. And so Charlotte talks about how she's been trying to recover her memories. Mm-hmm. She's like taking all kinds of like weird home remedies and treatments and whatnot, trying to recover her memories, because she's having little tidbits, flashes of her experience while she was in hell, while she was kind of like backburnered when Lucifer's mother was taking over her body.
Right. When she was dead.
When she was, exactly. When she was kind of like, off the board for a while, shall we say.
Yeah, so I guess she was dead. And
mostly dead, as opposed to all dead.
Mostly dead. And then when her body was vacated, she woke up, because I thought that she would just have been dead, that she wouldn't have woken up. But apparently...
Well, her soul had to go somewhere.
I thought she was in hell.
Her spirit, yeah.
I thought she would just be in hell.
Yeah.
Like dead. Because it looked like all those other bodies that she was in just expired after she left them.
Right.
But, I like this storyline, so that's fine. And I thought it was a very interesting thing that once she came to the realization that she's a vulnerable person and she needs to actually continue bettering herself.
Yes.
That she realizes she needs, I guess she humbled herself to go back to Dr. Linda, and Dr. Linda, as always,
right,
always right, and always put upon.
Well, one of the things we find out what I thought was interesting was that Charlotte's dreams, for lack of a better word, of hell, of her experience, were that someone that she got off on a technicality or whatever that really deserved to be put in jail or what have you, because she was super shady lawyer, would be like, I guess every time she would go through this loop in hell, one of her past clients would come in and murder her family.
Right. In front of her. Right. And then she would black out, and then she would come to, and it would happen all over again.
Yeah, it'd start all over again. So all Groundhog Day.
Right. And I'm assuming that meant the whole thing. Like, she'd meet the client, she'd find out they were guilty, she'd get them off on a technicality, and then after they get off, they would, I'm assuming she lives that whole thing every time. Right. So she knows,
and presumably
what horrific thing.
She got a lot of people off that really deserve to be in prison.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's got to be just, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like, there's something like that. So, yeah, that's crazy. And of course, that, like I said, that's the mirror to Abel's whole thing.
Yes.
Is that he has to live through being killed all the time. And I love that it was actually, they were taking turns in hell being Cain.
Yes.
That Maze and all of them were taking turns.
That was a good story that we got, was that Mazikeen reveals that, well, hey, because Abel was the first dead person.
Yeah.
In
they
hell,
practiced.
that was the one they practiced on. So So what we've learned is essentially that Mazikeen is also really, really old.
Yeah.
And predated Abel.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least so she's been around.
Great.
So
there had to be denizens of hell ready for the first death, right?
That's what I kind of wonder, is like, well, was Mazikeen there before Lucifer fell from heaven? Or did Mazikeen spring up from wherever because Lucifer was sent there? Which came first, chicken or the egg kind of thing?
I'm guessing that God created hell for Lucifer, which meant there needed to be
something for him to go into.
Employees.
Yes, right.
So,
yeah.
For lack of a better
hey, you need a staff.
Right. Well, he did.
Yep.
And so that's what happened. And you're
just the administrator.
Right. So, and they might have also been, people that he casts out from heaven.
Yeah.
Just like Lucifer, but they don't remember it or whatever. So
I want to see like a flashback episode of Lucifer that's kind of like The Office, where where Lucifer is kind of like Steve Carell.
Yeah, I could never see that, but
I think it'd be hilarious.
That would be awesome. I burnt my foot on a George Foreman grill.
No.
Don't send Dwight.
That'd be good.
And May says, "You can't fire me. I don't work in this hell." That is, of course, in reference to "You can't fire me. I don't work in this van."
Right. So, anyway, I just thought
it is your birthday period.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Okay, so
Lucifer comes up with this big plan.
And mind you, it was a decent plan.
Right.
Except for the fact that
Lucifer
if Abel is resurrected, it doesn't mean Cain hasn't committed murder.
Right.
He still committed murder.
Right. It didn't like go back and erase it.
No, it didn't.
So, you know, he basically he needed Barry Allen to like go back in time and
Right.
change
So,
history.
The reason nothing fixed anything is because Cain still murdered Abel.
Right.
Period.
Yes.
And it didn't matter that Abel forgave him. It didn't matter that
I think Lucifer thought that, okay, if we bring Abel back so Abel's not dead anymore, well, hey,
Right.
there's no death, so
Right.
therefore it doesn't count.
Yeah, I get that.
But that was kind of
Lucifer's-
flawed
yeah.
thinking.
Very flawed thinking. And I get that. And I think it's funny that the story, the mythos now is, as far as Lucifer, the storyline that,
Yep.
you know, the mythos is, and this isn't in the comics at all.
Right.
But I think it's funny that now Abel is as big of an a-hole as Cain is.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, maybe he deserved to be killed.
Right?
It's like,
So this is not the Cain and Abel from the Sandman.
no.
This
no.
is
And
definitely.
I'm kind of disappointed that because I wanted to see them, but I knew that Lucifer is such a loose adaptation. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. So this is definitely a completely different
Yeah.
imagining of Cain and Abel. There's no way this could be the same. Those are completely different
Right.
characters.
So they tried to bring or Abel back in his old man's body that is dying
Right.
and has died.
Right.
But it kind of gets all screwed up when Lucifer goes down, brings the Abel's soul back, and it ends up in the body of a younger woman.
Played by Lauren Lapkus,
Yep.
whom I love. She is an amazingly funny comedian. Right now, if you watch the show Crashing on
Okay.
HBO, it's a show about comedians, starring Pete Holmes. It's very funny, by the way. She plays Pete Holmes' ex-wife who cheated on him with a guy named Rain. It's hilarious. Anyway, Lauren Lapkus she has flawless comedic timing, and you can tell by the way she played Abel in this part.
Well, she does a lot of a great physical acting, I thought, in this, because she's trying to act like a dude.
A guy, yeah.
So,
It's
like
perfect.
the way she carries herself, the way she sits down and straddles, and,
Right.
just like, because,
Yeah.
guys, we have to kind of like open our legs to.
Let me share my seed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
just so funny the way
Well, she plays up like, essentially she's
Oh,
playing
let me bless you with
she's
my
playing a
seed.
chauvinist pig.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she
she's
plays
great.
it up, yeah.
Great. And even when Amenadiel sees her and shows her what she looks like,
Right.
and she's like, "Oh, so that's
Yep.
she's looking at herself in the mirror thing."
Yeah.
And,
Well, she's like, "Oh, I've got breasts," but I'm thinking, well, you're kind of like an A cup. You don't really have much.
no, not really, but hey,
The thought was there.
there's some there. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know why he didn't realize that sooner. But whatever.
Well, I mean, he's probably just thinking, okay, he's focused on his goal of just getting women.
I guess.
Apparently,
Doesn't
care what he looks like. Doesn't care what he sounds like. You would think he would have heard his voice
or felt that there was
or
something
her voice, I
missing,
should say. Yep.
right?
Gotta watch my gender pronouns. Her voice.
Yeah. So anyway, Lauren Lapkus did such a great job, and people are calling that character Breeble because the name was Bree.
Right. It was Bree the woman that Abel's body went into.
Right. So Breeble, apparently.
I would call it Brable.
Brable.
Brable. BR
Yeah.
and then Abel. So
Abel.
I think Brable's easier to pronounce.
I think so too.
You're welcome.
So Brable, once she and Amenadiel meet, they have this conversation, and then unfortunately someone comes to kill Bree.
Awkward.
Right, and it just happens to intersect with the case.
Yes.
And the case was just a nothing case, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It was literally nothing. All it did was involve Bree
Yes.
in the Chloe part of the show.
Yeah. Well, it would try to get it set up a series of circumstances where Chloe has to endanger herself
Right.
to try to save Bree,
Right.
and Lucifer is feeling guilty over this. Because he doesn't want Chloe harmed,
Right.
and so that bothers him.
Right. So there was the whole bomb diffusing thing.
Yeah.
Where Bree had to use her finger to open up the drawer.
Yeah, it was a isomorphic
lock thing.
lock where you have to use your fingerprint to open it.
Right, and she's the only one who could do it.
In the process of doing that, there's a bomb inside.
Right.
So before it goes, the drawer is completely opened, and Abel removes her finger.
Right.
They go in, and Chloe volunteers to try to disarm the bomb.
Right.
And Dan's like, wait a minute, what about Trixie? And
which really should have been a factor.
It really should have.
Yeah.
But I guess Chloe thought, well, Dan's there for Trixie, but
and of course Lucifer stayed.
And Lucifer doesn't want Chloe to be hurt.
Right.
So
all Lucifer had to say is, if you go, everything will be fine.
Well, Lucifer also had to prove to Chloe that he was her partner.
Right.
Because there was a bit of a kerfuffle earlier in the episode where Chloe's feeling a little like, because Lucifer runs off with Pierce to go deal with the Abel thing, the Abel plan, and Chloe's feeling kind of rejected, like, oh, you don't want to be my partner.
Right.
So
this was his way to say, no, we're partners.
Yeah.
And it ended up okay.
Right.
Because, he stayed with her and the bomb ended up okay. Now,
yes.
I also have to say in this episode, there was a Yeti in that office.
Yes.
A big Yeti.
Right.
And it kept showing up and I kept getting distracted. But hey.
The Yeti distracted you.
Okay, and then the other story is Maze and Amenadiel had a throwdown fight. Never bring an angel to a demon fight. Because
Mazikeen is still pissed off that Dr. Linda and Amenadiel hooked up.
Okay, I also want to say there has been an episode that has aired in the meantime.
Yes.
And she's still mad.
Right. Well, Dr. Linda does an outreach, which we'll talk about next time probably, or something.
But she still hasn't.
Yeah, she's still not getting over
it.
Well, this is Mazikeen. Apparently, it's hard for her to let things go.
Yeah, I know. I want it to end.
I thought Trixie was going to, get her over that, but nope.
But no.
Nope, no such luck.
No. Okay, but in this case, she and Amenadiel have a talk.
Yes.
I'm doing air quotes. You're not looking, no.
I see. I heard
talk.
A talk.
Yeah. So they have a talk, and as Maze's talks usually go, it ends with some blood.
Yeah.
And Amenadiel is fighting back, but still, he knows he did something wrong. So there's some fighting and some loud noises and lots of things happening. And he does say that, it's really not your call. There's that, which is really kind of a factor. She's being a baby at this point. I mean, I do get it, but there's also, you can't really change who you fall in love with, right?
Well, I think this is that Mazikeen probably has never been in love.
Right. Well, she doesn't have a soul.
Right, but apparently she feels in love with Amenadiel. Thought she was in love with Amenadiel.
I guess so. But then she should have said that.
Right. Well, this is because she's kind of emotionally stunted in this way.
Right.
So this is like something she needs to work out with Dr. Linda. However, she's fighting with Dr. Linda. So,
there's no working it out.
So no one's really given her advice.
Right.
Yet.
And I think really
I think it's going to
come to a head.
I think it's going to come down to Chloe.
I think so too. Or Lucifer. Or both.
Well, Lucifer's not generally the greatest at advice.
He is.
He may accidentally say something that kind of accidentally makes Mazikeen think, but I don't think deliberately he will say no.
He thinks of himself first.
Yeah.
But if he gives her advice because of something happening to him,
right,
then that might work. Because of something that happened in the next episode with Chloe and Pierce.
Yeah, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're just going to we'll tease that.
Yeah. Okay, so what did you think of the episode?
Apparently we're completely in sync this week.
We are completely in sync, right down the line. And I had my stuff in there already.
Yeah.
All of it.
Well, except for the Flash. I got that.
I had the 9 there, didn't I?
Yeah, but after I put it in there.
Oh,
I'm the one who typed.
I thought I had the 9.
I'm the one who typed all that in.
Okay.
Because you weren't sure. You didn't have anything for our 4th show.
Okay.
So, yeah. But we came out pretty even.
Well, I had 9 already for it.
Yeah. So I give it 8 blasting caps.
Excellent.
Because that was one of the things that Chloe had to take out of the bomb to disarm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I give it 8 silver trays, which is what Amenadiel held up to show Lauren Lapis-Bree.
Right.
That she was...
And she checked herself out.
That's right. Did that with her.
Oh, yeah. Just like Karen.
Yep.
Are you able? I was not so much, but...
Well, you said, oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now on to the Flash.
Yeah.
4:15. Enter Flashtime.
Enter Flashtime. Yes. This was... Oh, let me get to my next page here. Written by Todd Helbing and Sterling Gates, who has written a couple of great Elongated Man episodes. Mm-hmm. Sterling Gates turning out to be one of the Flash writing team's top writers.
I agree.
Season. Definitely a great addition, in my opinion.
And of course, the Helbings are showrunners.
Yeah, so. But apparently, I think Aaron Helbing stepped away, but Todd is still there. Okay. So, directed by Gregory Smith.
Okay.
Okay, and our A story?
Wibbly Wobbly, Bomby Womby. These are your titles.
I know. You want me to read them?
No.
Okay.
B story, The Fastest People Alive.
Right.
I like that one.
Thank you.
And the C story is, you can do that one.
Okay, yeah. So, she's a mystery girl. And that's a Roy Orbison song reference.
I like
that was the one that was written by Bono. So
is it?
Yeah, it's on the I forget. Oh, it's one of his later albums.
Of course, since Bono wrote it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, but
it would have to be
I really like that song.
So, time almost, right?
So this is obviously about. I think this is just before Traveling Wilburys.
Okay.
So this is just when he was making his career resurgence that he did in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is about Mystery Girl, who's been appearing in a few Flash episodes. We still don't know quite who she is, although we have our suspicions, and we've talked about them. Excess.
Iris's daughter.
Iris's granddaughter.
Oh, granddaughter. Sorry.
I'm hoping.
That.
It'd be so we'll see.
Okay, so Wibbly Wobbly, Bomby Womby, of course.
Yes, this is the time bomb ticking, right. Gonna tick,
and of course,
tick, tick, tick.
The Fastest People Alive kind of ties into that.
Yes, it does.
Because they are the people that come to help Flash.
Right. Well, what we have, the premise of this episode is like, okay, there's a nuclear bomb that's going to go off thanks to this eco-terrorist named Veronica Dale, who's actually a really obscure Green Arrow villain named Hyrax,
Hyrax.
Hyrax.
Okay.
So,
H-Y?
Hyrax. If you're looking to, she belongs to this eco-terrorist group called the Eden Corps, and so they scraped the bottom of the barrel for this one. She only appeared in like a few issues of Green Arrow, but
I really liked that where she was like Eden Core, Eden Core, and Cisco says, "I think she's saying Eden Core."
That was good. So, because of this, so she somehow got a hold of a nuclear weapon. And they have to, obviously, they're trying to defuse this bomb, but unfortunately, the bomb, by the time they get there, just started detonating. By the time Barry shows up, it's already started. So the clock is ticking. So the premise of this episode is we shift to what's called Flashtime, where it's essentially Barry, because he's moving so fast, everything slows, everything freezes around him.
Right. So
he's trying to figure out how to stop this bomb, and is having trouble figuring out, okay, well, where do I take this bomb? Because it's already started ticking, and by the time I move it, it's going to explode.
Right.
So, now, I came up with a pretty quick solution to this that they never brought up during the show.
Okay.
Why doesn't Barry run backwards through time just like 8 minutes and change history? Because going back 8 minutes isn't going to really screw up the timeline, would it?
Right. Right.
But no. Too easy of a
He does it all the time.
Too easy of a solution. I know, but I mean, I understand if he doesn't want to go through time all the time. Mm-hmm. But in a case of like where there's a nuclear weapon that's about to go off and kill thousands of people, maybe you can make the effort to go back a few minutes and prevent it from starting to detonate.
Right.
So that's just me. That's how I would have. That's how I would have solved it. But the episode would have been over in 5 minutes.
Right.
So
the show would have been over, and we wouldn't have gotten our cameos.
Exactly. So, in the process of trying to solve this dilemma, and this kind of leads us to the fastest people alive, Jessie Quick shows up and tries to help out because she's one of the few people that can move as fast as Barry, so she can function in flash time while everybody else is frozen. Barry decides, okay, well, we could try to move faster and try to figure out what our next steps are. So Barry suggests that Jay Garrick may have an idea. So he sends Jesse to Earth 3 to bring Jay back over. So we get the return of John Wesley's ship as Jay Garrick, which is always awesome.
Right. Now, Jesse was there because Harry sent an apology beacon to her.
Yes.
About a bunch of stuff.
Harry and Jesse have been estranged, and Jesse had cut ties with Wally, sending him I'm dumping you, Graham.
Yeah. Which
you would think she would have been like, well, where's Wally? Not around here. But maybe
someone did mention Wally's not here.
I'm wondering if that'll get resolved on Legends of Tomorrow now that Wally West Kid Flash is on Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get Jessie Quick over there. But in the meantime, though, she's has really kind of bitter feelings over her father, Harry, because Harry cannot get over their mother's death.
Right.
And Jesse wants him to move on with his life.
Right. And they had a big fight over it, and apparently that's why Harry came to Earth 1. Mm-hmm. And so he sent a beacon to her saying he apologized, and she said, well, if you didn't want me to come, then you shouldn't have sent a beacon.
Right.
Right.
Now, I really like this because they finally addressed this whole issue of, like, Jesse's mom.
Mm-hmm.
This has been kind of like it was something I think it was teased but never developed. So it's
And
like,
I'm
hey,
assuming
they're
it was the same woman he was married to
right,
on Earth 1, right?
right.
It's just that he was married to her longer.
Part of me would like it if her name was Libby, because that's Jesse Quick's mom in the comics, with Libby Lawrence, Liberty Bell.
Oh, that would be nice.
So I'm hoping her name is Libby, but we'll find out.
That would be nice.
Thank you.
If it was actually her.
That's what I would do. Again, I don't write for the show, so I can't do this.
Except for that she's dead, which would be bad.
Yeah, but still, at least, do a little acknowledgement.
Yeah, that's true.
So
he sends her the note, and that's why she's here. So they're together, and Barry has this terrible idea. It is the worst idea.
Yeah.
To put the bomb in the Speed Force.
Right.
And of course.
Well, he's hoping that he figures, well, it's just this kind of other dimension, so just throw it in there and we won't have the effects.
Yeah.
But,
Jay.
Well, actually, no, I take this back. No, Harry's the one who comes up with the idea.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got this here in my notes.
Oh yeah, he wakes up Harry first.
Yeah. So what Barry does throughout this episode is to get the other cast members involved.
Yeah.
He can touch people and kind of jumpstart them so that they can function for a brief time in Flashtime.
Right.
Before they get frozen again.
Is it Cisco first or Harry first?
I think it was Cisco first.
Yeah, and he tries to open a portal, but he can't because of how fast he's going.
Yeah. So he tries to get Cisco to breach the nuke to a dead Earth.
Right.
Like he did before.
Right.
Even though he kind of maybe killed some people for all we know.
Right.
That whole thing. But, hey, why not do it again? Same Earth, maybe? That's already
same Earth.
Hopefully the same Earth that's already trashed.
Right.
We should call it just Earth Trash Bin.
Right. Dumpster fire.
Earth dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So, but because his body isn't able to handle Flashtime, Cisco can't open the breach.
Right.
So.
And he ends up fizzling a lot.
Yeah. So he ends up getting frozen again. He slips out of Flashtime. So then Barry goes to Harry to try to come up with an idea. And this is where Harry thinks, oh yeah, dump it in the Speed Force. So it's Harry's idea, not Barry's.
Terrible idea.
For the record.
Yeah, sure. Harry doesn't care. Yeah. That's not where his powers come from.
Yeah. And about this time, Jesse shows up with Jay. And Jay's just like, no, don't do that, you idiots.
Let's
Bad
not
idea.
do that.
Bad idea.
Speed Force is a good thing.
It's bad.
Let's not ruin it.
Yeah.
They decide not to do that. And then they go to Caitlin, right? Caitlin's next?
Yeah, they try Caitlin because Jay suggests that they use Killer Frost to try to freeze the nuke.
Mm-hmm.
Jay decides, well, hey, if you cool it down, maybe that would keep it from detonating.
Right.
If you froze it. But
her powers don't work either.
In Flashtime. So that's ideas off the board.
Right.
So essentially, Cisco and Killer Frost are useless in this episode.
Right. And Killer Frost says take care of Caitlin.
Yes,
which is
she does.
Important.
Yeah, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of debate about what to do next, and Barry tries to convince Jesse to take the nuke into the Speed Force. She's like, nope, not going to do that. I'm not down with that. And then they start realizing they're slowing down because apparently they can't keep up remaining in Flashtime.
Right.
So first Jay drops out, then Jesse drops out, and then Barry's the last by himself.
Right.
Trying to figure out what to do.
And that's when he goes to Iris.
So Iris, because #West Allen.
Yeah. He's crying.
Yep. And they have a pretty good emotional scene, which I kind of liked.
They do. He said, I can't stop it.
Yeah. And, just he's exhausted and he's just so he's kind of trying to relate to Iris, and they have a good little bonding moment over the whole thing.
And this is actually a pretty decent setup for the next episode.
It is, which we'll talk about.
Yeah,
That
her actually coming up with the solution to all this.
Yeah, so her solution is that, well, hey, that Caitlin tricked the Speed Force with this quark sphere.
Mm-hmm.
So if Barry's able to find it again, he might be able to use that to stop the nuke. So he goes into the Speed Force, finds the sphere, and just like Iris thought, that stops the nuke, absorbs the blast. So problem solved.
Right. And then, of course, they take all the people into custody. And
So Iris comes out with the idea that Jay, Barry, Cisco, Harry could not come up with.
Right. Well, she is smart.
She is smart. I'm not discounting that.
And she wasn't encumbered with trying to rely on powers.
Right. This is true.
Because, Cisco's first thought is use my powers.
Right.
Caitlin's first thought is use my powers. They didn't have to think of, hey, let's use some device or do something.
Yep.
And, So, there's that. Now.
Yes.
After everyone is safe, there was a little bit of fallout.
Yeah.
We learned that Caitlin remembers being Killer Frost.
Right. So the personalities are merging.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cisco was a little shaken up about not being able to use his powers in Flashtime, but he's mostly okay.
Right.
Jessie and her dad have a bit of a moment.
Right. They start to reconcile.
Yes.
I don't think they're quite there yet, but progress was made.
Yeah. Now, in the episode before this, he had made this device to inhibit Cecile's powers.
Yes.
Or D.A. Cecile, as he calls her.
Yeah. This little mind helmet thing.
Right. And he had made a second one that was smaller for her, so he had the helmet still.
Right.
And what he did is he adapted it so that he could read minds and beam thoughts.
Share his thoughts to Jesse, so he shared his memories of his wife.
Right.
Without having to talk about it.
They kind of did a mind meld
thing,
which...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just wrenching.
So instead of talking about it, because Harry didn't want to talk about his wife's passing, he kind of shared his feelings about it, what he thought, his thoughts about it.
If you could do that instead of talking about it, I mean...
It would certainly save time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
In a couple of tissue boxes, probably.
Yeah. Okay, and then...
And Jay says, okay, I'm going to go back to Earth 3 because I'm thinking I'm going to train myself a new speedster.
That's right.
And apparently it's a she he's got in
That's
mind.
right.
But we don't know who she is
now,
yet.
Do you think it's the same she that we've been seeing?
It could be, but I'm kind of thinking not.
Well, I don't mean the exact same she.
Yeah.
I mean the she equivalent on his Earth.
I don't know. I don't know who it might be.
Okay.
So I'm kind of curious about this because I don't think it's Mystery Girl, who we're going to talk about here in a minute.
No, I think it might be the equivalent of that on his Earth.
Maybe not.
Okay. Or Jesse.
Well, because if Mystery Girl is related to Barry and Iris,
he hasn't been born yet.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of rules that out. If you logically.
Jesse Quick on his Earth?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I think it's somebody. I think it's somebody else. So,
who do you think it is?
I'm thinking they can maybe introduce some let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm kind of puzzled.
Okay.
I had a possibility, but I'm just like, no, I'm not liking that. So I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not going to state it.
But there's someone.
There's someone. So
Okay.
maybe there'd be a new character they'll introduce. Who knows? Somebody brand new.
Walina West.
No, I don't think so. Where did you? Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a different Earth. Okay.
That's horrible, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so Mystery Girl. So, she's a mystery girl. So we get another bit where Caitlin and Harry go to Jitters. And as we know, Mystery Girl has been hanging around the Jitters as a
She
waitress.
has been. Yes.
So, because, hey, we got to use that set somehow.
That's right.
We haven't dismantled it. So we better use it. It's taking up space in a studio.
Yeah.
So they're there having a cup of coffee. Their coffees get knocked over because Mystery Girl is all excited.
It would be my first time with a, what is it? It's a Killer Frost drink or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's my first Killer Frost drink, and of course I knock it over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, that's.
I'm here to meet someone.
Yep. Exactly. So they keep teasing this. It's like, okay, we've had 3 episodes. You can probably
Can we kind of tell us who it is, maybe?
Yeah, and then they're kind of like
now,
dangling
at
us
the
along
end of
here.
this one, they say, well, I hope your meeting goes well. And she says, oh, it did. Now, did that not look a little on the sinister side, or?
A little bit, but I think it's supposed to be because I think they're trying to think, well, maybe she's a villain. I think they're trying to fool people.
Okay.
She's
so
not
you think
she's not a
they're
villain.
planting that as
I
a
think
red
they're
herring?
I think they're trying to throw people off the fact that, well, it's either Barry and Iris's daughter, Dawn Allen,
Yeah.
or Barry and Iris's granddaughter, Jenny Ognitz, XS, from the Legion of Superheroes.
Right.
So we'll see.
You will be. I mean, she was.
Yeah,
very...
I know. She did look kind of like, okay, little sinister motive, but
yeah, she did a little.
Yeah,
bit.
but I think that was deliberately misleading.
I think so too. It's just
I'm not falling for it.
What are you doing there?
So I could be wrong, but I'm not falling for that. I'm
all right.
Highly skeptical.
So what did you think? I really liked this episode, except for that one thing where he could have solved it in 20 seconds.
And that's what kept this from being a 10 for me, because otherwise it probably would have.
Yeah.
This was a great episode. Cool idea. It wasn't a villain of the week, really. In this episode, we tried to do something a little different with the concept, using the Barry's powers. So I give it a 9 out of 10 quark spheres because this is pretty strong, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I like the fact that everybody got a chance to try.
Right.
To save the day.
And we got Jay and Jesse back because we haven't seen either of them for a while now.
Right.
So I was glad about that. And we got Mystery Girl teased. And
Mystery Girl, yep. Yeah. So I also gave it a 9 fizzled Cisco's.
Okay.
I like that.
Very nice.
All right, on to Gotham 413, A Beautiful Darkness.
Written by Tse Chun, directed by John Stevens.
That is pronounced Z.
Is it Z? Because I thought it was like Tsetse fly. Tse.
I know.
Okay.
That's what he says.
Z Chun. Okay. Apologies. There's Z.
That's all right.
Okay. Thanks for correcting me.
No worries.
All right.
Okay, so A story, Smells Like Green Spirit.
Nice. I like that.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
clever.
you. Yeah, that appeared to me like a light bulb.
At least you didn't go, it's not easy being green.
No.
That would have been phoning it in.
Yep.
This is clever.
Thank you. Smells Like Green Spirit.
Yep. Like
B
that.
story, Not Everyone Hates Mimes.
Okay. Jerome doesn't.
Someone likes mimes.
Yep.
I know.
There's one person. And then,
one person.
To be fair, though, he's an insane asylum, so that should tell you something right there.
Still.
Right? Yeah.
Still, there are people in that insane asylum who don't like mimes.
Right.
It's the one thing they're not crazy about. C story, A Pig Who Shall Not Be Named.
Right.
That's the Sophia.
Yeah.
And this is the lamest thing I came up with for this.
Yeah.
Bat rang, as in the bat rang.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so stupid. I didn't know what else to put. I don't know.
I don't know what I'd call for that one.
Yeah, see, I didn't.
It's essentially like foreshadowing the future. So
Yeah.
foreshadow of the Batman, foreshadow of the Bat. How's that?
Foreshadow of the Bat. That's a good one.
You're welcome.
But Batarang, I mean, that's just lame. After Smells Like Green Spirit,
Yeah.
So
it was a tough one. I'll give you that. That's a tough one to come up with a title for.
Yeah.
All right.
So can we start with Foreshadow of the Bat? Because
yeah, that was a big moment.
this is why we picked this episode to talk about, right?
This is pretty cool.
This is iconic. Again,
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you talk about Batman, there are moments that are part of the mythos that you want to see when you hear about Batman. The alley and the pearls.
Yeah.
You know, you want to see those things. One of them is Batman becoming Batman and seeing bats at a cave. And
we should probably set the table for this.
Yeah.
Because Bruce, who up until this point has been douche Wayne.
Well, in the last few episodes, yes. Not up until this point, but in the last few episodes.
I should mention that I also saw David Mazouz and Sean Pertwee there at
Did you?
Wizard World Cleveland. I didn't get their autograph, but Sean Pertwee and I had a bonding moment because there was some really bad karaoke going on the main stage.
Yeah.
And Sean Pertwee was just like,
yeah.
And I was just like, I look over at him and I'm just like, I'm plugging my ears going, and we just kind of looked, we had that look like we bonded over this horrible, horrible karaoke. So
very nice.
So, it's just a very small, short moment in time, but it's ours.
I like it. Do you have his ring yet?
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't have enough money to get his autograph because I was getting the other autographs, but hopefully I'll get another chance to get his autograph because if anything else, I want to meet him officially so I can tell him how great I thought his dad was.
Sure.
So, John Pertwee from Doctor Who.
John Pertwee, yeah.
So,
legendary.
The third Doctor, so yeah. But it's still very cool. And it was kind of cool to have this like weird moment that we get
that, right?
You know how we get each other. Like we're in each other's brains. It was that same.
That kind of moment with
just for that one moment.
Yeah.
So
very nice.
I'm sure I'm making more of this than it probably was.
No, for a minute he probably thought that guy gets it.
Yeah, he did. Well, I mean, we locked eyes and we're just commiserating over this horrible karaoke.
You locked eyes and you ran across a field.
It was so dreamy. I was just like, I had my wind blowing through my hair. Yes.
And he jumped in a window with a flak jacket on to save you.
We're both traipsed down this field holding hands. Yeah. Horrible karaoke.
I like it. Yeah. Okay, so Bruce Wayne has been douche Wayne over the last few episodes, definitely. And he gets a visit from Ivy, the new
Peyton List.
The new Ivy. Aiden List, yes, who is doing a great job, I think.
Well, this is the Ivy we should have gotten from day one, but you would think she would be a little younger, closer to Bruce's age. But
still.
But Peyton List is a great poison ivy. Definitely playing it up as you want her to. And she's not dumb and ditzy like the other two, the previous two.
Now, one of the things she can probably do is halt her aging.
Right.
So think of that.
So maybe she'll be more immortal, at least until Bruce catches up.
Sure.
Yeah, let's hope. But I didn't think about that. That's a good suggestion. But Peyton List, you may remember as Lisa Snart, a.k.a. the Golden Glider from The Flash.
That's right.
And she also played Lois Lane's sister Lucy on Smallville.
She certainly did.
So she's hit the comic book trifecta, y'all.
That's right. Three.
So that puts her in one of the rare clubs that she hit the comic book trifecta.
Batman, Superman, Flash.
Yep, that's pretty strong.
Sure is.
That's pretty strong. So
yeah, but I think she's doing a great job, and I think Selena and she,
Mm-hmm.
Selena didn't want anything to do with her when she realized that she was killing people. So that was an interesting
Yeah,
little...
they have this very brief team up until Ivy starts like putting seeds in like these people, and then they sprout, kind of like all alien-like,
right, coming
and out of their mouth, and they all these
So
spores or whatever, and
she does the same thing to Bruce.
Selena's like, I'm out. Bye.
Yeah, I'm out. Right. So she does the same thing to Bruce. She plants whatever in him, and as he is changing, being infected by this thing,
right,
he hallucinates.
Well, she does it really deliberately slowly because she wants him to suffer.
Right.
So this gives them more time to fix the problem.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Because everybody was far away, so it's like, well, we've got to come up with a way to get people there in time.
Plus, they wanted us to see this hallucination.
Right.
So he has these little flashes of hallucinations where his face gets torn off, where he's... Yeah. It's definitely
it gets cut off, kind of like, when Jerome's face was cut off. Yeah. So.
Right. It's very evocative of things that have happened in his past.
Right.
He's acting not like himself, so that's definitely he sees that he's not being himself.
Alfred comes in. They're he goes to this weird kind of like a costume party.
Right.
Where Gordon has a mustache. So
which is
we finally get
really
Gordon with
funny.
a mustache.
Yeah.
That everybody's wanting.
And then Harvey Bullock is there as Alfred with a chicken under his arm, which is very strange.
A live chicken.
A live chicken, yes.
Not just KFC chicken.
Right. Not a bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
And Selena's there, and
Lee has Egyptian garb on, and
all these people.
Penguin's there.
Sure, everyone's there. Really,
right.
All the villains are there. Not Fish, but
no.
The ones that are currently on the show.
The ones that matter.
Right.
Oh,
and these flashes keep happening, and then
did your power go out? You're in the dark.
Right. And then, as he is kind of floundering at this party, the real Alfred breaks into the window in a flak jacket.
Like all secret agent man.
The SSI version.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you read the book. Did you read the book?
Actually, more MI6, but hey.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Did you read the book, the Gotham book?
Which Gotham book?
There's a Gotham book that's about Alfred and
during his time.
Bruce's dad. It's about
like a novelization?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like a paper.
I guess you didn't read it.
I did not read it.
Okay, I'll have to give you a copy.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So anyway, it's about how they bonded and how he ended up with, we get
the full story of how he and Bruce's dad became friends.
Right. So it's kind of like his life, just at that point almost.
Okay.
But anyway, he comes into the window like that and saves Bruce,
right?
Quote unquote, saves Bruce, and drops him in an alley, which is of course the alley where his parents were killed.
Crime alley. So
right.
This is where his parents were murdered, and Bruce is just like, I don't want to be here, and then all of a sudden,
why did you leave me here?
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, this caped figure steps from the shadows and stares down at Bruce. We don't get a good look at him.
Who are you?
Yeah. Well,
I'm Batman.
Yeah, I'm Batman.
He doesn't say that.
He doesn't say that. He tells Bruce, "This is where I was born."
Yeah.
And it was a great Batman voice. I don't know who this voice artist was, but that's okay, if they're going to do another Batman animated series, Kevin Conroy's obviously the best.
He's great, yeah.
But if you can't get Kevin Conroy, get this guy.
Yeah, this guy was pretty good.
He was really good. I liked it.
Yeah, I did too.
I don't know who he was. And
I thought he was a good approximation of that Bruce grown up.
Yes.
That voice aged up.
Right.
So
then Bruce wakes up in a cave.
Well, did you notice that as he walked into the alley, his parents' outlines were in there, and as he walked further in, they disappeared?
Oh, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah,
I saw the outlines, but I didn't catch the disappear.
And it was as the Batman figure was jumping up onto the thing, like Batman was erasing the crime.
Oh, interesting.
So it was really, really evocative of all
big
these
symbolism.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed all that kind of foreshadowing stuff. I don't know why I didn't say foreshadowing.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Foreshadow with the bat. You like that now, don't you?
It's so good. It really is.
I just came up with that one.
Really is.
It's all right. Just some. So Bruce wakes up in a cave. So we finally get Bruce in a cave.
Yep, we do.
I was like,
yeah, I know. And this is where what's his name is in there. Raish, right? Raish is in there, but he's not Raish, right? Yeah. And he's doing some weird thing.
Well, the cape figure shows up on Bruce is looking around for somebody,
right?
And probably Raish or Alfred or something,
right?
And the cape figure shows up on the other side of him, and he says, "I am the one you cannot escape,
right?
The one you cannot kill." Because I'm Batman. No. Yeah. And then Bruce replies, "You're me," or "You're me." And so the conversation ends when the figure says, "You're scared. You should be."
Mm-hmm.
So essentially and then he turns into a horde of bats flying at him. So we kind of finally get the bats in a cave coming at Bruce that I've been wanting for a long time. So so is this the thing that kind of inspires Bruce to become Batman?
I assume it puts him on the path at least.
Yeah. I mean, it's still not the kind of the thing where Bruce falls into the cave and gets traumatized by the bats that swarm all over him.
No, but he's pretty traumatized, I would assume, by whatever.
So maybe, and then when he wakes up, he's not Douche Wayne anymore.
No, he's not.
He finally awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he calls
Alfred.
Right.
But Alfred, he has to leave a message because Alfred is not picking up his phone.
Well, does Alfred have a phone? I mean, he's living on the street now.
I'm pretty sure Alfred has a phone.
Okay.
It's 2018. I'm pretty sure he has a phone.
Well, Alfred is busy.
Alfred's got things to do.
He does. He
secret agent man.
Secret things.
Yeah.
So the thing that gets him finding Bruce, James finding Bruce,
right,
is he gets put on this path of Ivy and Selina are pulling this crime, and Selina's like, no thank you. And James is trying to figure out who's doing this and gets the description of Ivy and Selina, recognizes Selina,
right,
goes and tracks her down, and Selina's like, oh yeah, I'll help you track her down.
yeah. Selina's like, bitch be cray.
Exactly. And by the way, how incredibly 80s was that commercial for Sirens?
Oh,
do you remember the commercial for Sirens?
It was horrible. For one thing, it was trying to be 80s, but it wasn't 80s.
Right.
I grew up in the 80s. That was not 80s. So,
but it was.
But so you had Barbara Stabby Babs in this big, huge hair helmet.
Yes, they all had hair helmets.
It was like a Farrah Fawcett thing, but it was cartoonishly big.
Mm-hmm.
And Selina had her hair all teased up, kind of like Pat Benatar.
Mm-hmm.
And in her 80s
Madonna
videos, Madonna
Pat
or
Benatar.
Pat Benatar. That's
Yeah.
Either one. Like Lucky Star Madonna, not Material Girl Madonna. Just saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Tabitha, of course, had like the big ponytail
right
thing happening.
She also had kind of a hair helmet thing going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Definitely.
But
it was the worst commercial.
Really, really cheesy and like.
Yeah. You can see the commercial on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
It's just isolated on YouTube as the commercial.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of
very
god awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like my hair looks like that.
Well, no, you have to put it up.
I'd have to do a thing.
You know, like you have to kind of like push it up. There you go. Now look like Cosima from Orphan Black.
You would be my lucky star.
Yeah, now that's in your head, isn't it? See? Yep. Yeah, that's closer. The sides are kind of poofing out, so it doesn't quite work.
Now my hair is going to be a mess.
Just shake it off.
Tangled.
Anyway.
Oh, there's no shaking this time.
That's what I figured. It just causes tangles.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of.
I'm going to braid it once
right.
I'm done.
All right. So now that we're moving on from Karen's styling tips.
Yeah. They end up tracking Ivy down through Selena, and
I have to do this.
What is this bizarre segue that's happening right now? Can we maybe stay on point?
Thank you.
Oh, shut up, Garth.
So anyway, they track her down through Selena, and they end up finding Bruce, and they pull him out of whatever this thing is that's happening to him. All right. So anyway, there's that. Do they catch? They don't catch Ivy, right?
No. Ivy's
they just save Bruce.
They just save Bruce. Well, because for one thing, the Ivy has the antidote. She leaves it inside of Lucius's pocket because Lucius is under her control.
Oh, right. They take Lucius too.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and she takes everybody at the precinct as well.
Yeah. So like when Gordon shows up and calls Ivy a psycho, everybody's ready to kill Gordon. Right. And Selena's like looking over him like, you idiot.
Yeah. What did you say? Yeah. And they have to back out of the station.
Yeah, it turns into this like big, like kind of like a mob going after Gordon and Selena.
Yeah. And Gordon has to. Yeah. Does he punch Lucius? He punches Lucius or something, and then once Lucius wakes up, gets up off the floor, he's like, "What just happened?" Or
Yeah, because so like
let's go get Bruce.
Yeah, so essentially like brainwashed Lucius.
She's so beautiful.
Keeps Gordon at bay long enough for Ivy to escape.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
and they get the antidote to Bruce. Bruce comes back. He's not douche Wayne anymore.
Right. And now Pig Who Shall Not Be Named, that is James and Sophia.
Yep.
He goes to Sophia and says, there's not going to be a partnership.
Right.
And I know you're not going to out me because I have this dirt on you. And she says, well, I've got dirt on you. And so they're pretty much at a standstill. So that's that whole storyline, essentially.
That's good.
And Not Everyone Hates Mimes is Jerome and Oswald are having a bit of an interesting time in the prison.
Well, Oswald's being super serious, and Jerome finds him very, very boring.
Well, Oswald doesn't want to rock the boat because Sophia has his little friend.
Right.
So he wants to be quiet and everything. Well, Jerome finds him boring and doesn't understand why he's this hailed figure, and so he wants to poke the bear.
Yeah, so he wants to basically try to drive Penguin nuts, more nuts.
Right.
And part of his thing is to like get the other inmates to like gang up on him and stuff him in a clown suit and do like a dance.
Right.
Because they just happen to have a clown suit handy.
Sure. And they it's made out of a prison uniform. And they shock his feet in order to make him dance.
Yeah.
Right. And when he falls off the table, they beat him.
Right.
And then later on, when he comes up with a plan to get back at Jerome, and what happens is he gets Jerome's lackey to take his place. They put a thing over the lackey's head, thinking that it's Oswald,
Right.
and they hang him.
Right.
And it ends up being like Jerome is delighted that Oswald has pulled this trick on him. And then Oswald says, "Ha ha, I fooled you." And Jerome is like, "Yay, you fooled me. Hooray." And then Oswald is holding this knife.
Yeah.
And then he does this thing where his hands are up like he's in a box.
Yeah, they're doing a mime act. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jerome, of course, has to obey the laws.
Well, he goes along with the mime act. And
He has to.
So he acts like he's like he's going to stab Penguin.
Right.
But then he's like, okay, I'm going along with the mime gag. And so they both keep miming until Penguin brings Jerome inside the box.
Right.
And then Penguin beats the crap out of him.
Right.
And
which I thought was great.
And Penguin's just like, yes, who's the man? And Jerome,
and everyone goes nuts.
Then Jerome is just on the floor laughing. He's all
Jerome loves
his face is all bloodied and beaten and whatnot. He's just laughing hysterically because he thinks that, hey, I made Penguin nuts.
Right.
He's cured.
So it's a win-win.
Right.
As far as Joker's concerned.
It's almost like a really microscopic version of Batman the Killing Joke, where Joker tries to make Gordon nuts.
Right.
By showing him like pictures of his mutilated daughter, Barbara, Batgirl. Right. So.
And it works.
Yeah.
Right?
No, briefly, but doesn't stick. Gordon regains his wits, so. But anyway,
right.
so
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'd say so. So what's your rating?
My rating is 8.5 vials of Lazarus water.
Right.
Because that's what Ivy wanted to get.
Yeah, apparently this mysterious Project M, turns out to be that somebody's been experimenting with Lazarus water.
From the pit.
From the Lazarus pit. And apparently Ivy gets a hold of it, causes a plant to instantly grow. And she blows the petals at the owners of this apartment people that just came home. And they instantly fall down and flowers burst through their chest like alien chest bursters.
That's right.
So
plants grow everywhere.
Now, they didn't go around going, hello, my honey, hello, my baby, hello, my ragtime gal.
So they're not the WB.
It's not Spaceballs. I was thinking Spaceballs.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying, you're singing the little WB song.
But that was the gag in Spaceballs.
Yeah, I know.
In the diner scene.
I know.
Okay. Where John Hurt from Alien recreates that bit. And then the WB alien, they cross the WB Michigan J Frog with the alien. Okay. I'm just explaining it for everybody.
I like it. We need Spaceballs too.
The search for more money.
That's right. That's what it should be called.
Yeah, it should be called that.
All right, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The 100th episode.
Yep.
It's called The Real Deal.
Yeah, The Big Deal, Real Deal, episode 100, written by Jed Whedon and Marissa Tancharowen and Jeffrey Bell, showrunners, directed by Kevin Tancharowen. So it's all in the family.
All showrunners.
Yep. So what's our A, B, and C, Karen?
Ghosts of the Past.
Yeah.
That's pretty evident.
Right.
Scavenger Hunt.
We get to return to some peoples.
We do.
And, Scavenger Hunt. And C, story?
Taking Sides.
/
Paternity Test.
/
Yo-Yo Gadget Arm.
That's my favorite of the week.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a nice Inspector Gadget reset, but with Yo-Yo instead of Go-Go Gadget Arms.
Thank you.
Well played.
I like smells like green spirit myself.
That makes up for Batarang.
Does it? Okay,
yes,
good.
it does. That was a good one.
I think it's almost tragic, though, Yo-Yo Gadget.
You stuck the landing. You ended on a high note.
Okay, good. All right, so can we just start with scavenger hunt? Because Deke is sent out on a scavenger hunt.
Can we talk about how annoying Deke is?
No, I love Deke.
I hate Deke with a passion.
Deke is great.
He's so annoying. He's trying to be
loved
like
him since
wacky.
The first appearance.
He tries too hard.
And it's not just because he's attractive. I like him. He's so earnest.
Sure, it's not. Okay.
He's got that
yeah.
John Crichton kind of feel to him, I think. So you say. I like him.
He's like a dorky version of Ryan Reynolds.
Again, what is wrong with that?
He's... You know how some people try to be cool and some people are naturally cool?
Okay.
He's one of those that tries really hard to be cool, but doesn't quite work.
I like him.
Yeah.
I do. I like him.
That's just
so anyway,
that's my take. Anyway,
they send Deke out on the scavenger.
I respect your take.
And I thought it was just because they were out of stuff. It turns out that it was for more than that.
Yeah, Coulson. Well, Coulson's the one that sends him out.
Right.
Coulson's planning something here.
Mm-hmm. But they did need supplies, apparently.
They did, but so yeah, Deke. Well, yeah, Daisy and Deke started. They were looking for medical supplies,
right, in
the storeroom. But then Coulson sends Deke on another mission,
right, and sends him for some other things.
He goes outside, and there's he notices there's a helicopter overhead, the military swarming, because the 5-0 called in the tip about Daisy.
That's right.
And we get that General Hale. That's
are they not just the worst?
Because we killed off what's his face, Talbot.
Right.
So we have a replacement, Talbot.
Yeah. But she's terrible. She's the worst, though.
I'm sure she's up to no good. I'm sure she's super shady too.
Oh, she is, and her daughter.
Yeah, that's true. Her daughter. I forgot about her. We skipped that episode because your brain hurting.
And they weren't much in this episode, but yeah,
but her daughter is like a serious piece of work. They're
both just trouble with a capital.
Yeah.
C.
But we don't get her daughter much in this episode.
No, we don't.
Capital C. Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, you did.
I can't say the C word.
I didn't say the C word.
But you thought it. The eye roll is speaking volumes here.
Okay, so he goes out on a scavenger hunt, so we'll hear more about that in a minute. Yeah. Goes to the past. Now, there are things happening in the lighthouse because there is some sort of weird breach happening.
Yep.
And it is causing them to see their worst fears.
Well, first we get this glowing crack in the wall, which looks a lot like the crack in time from Doctor Who. I'm just saying.
It kind of does.
It more than does. I watched that. I was like, that's the crack in time from Doctor Who.
Yeah, we actually addressed that in the Nice Girls article. Did you?
I missed that. No, I haven't read it yet.
In the Nice Girls article, we talked a lot about there being some homages to Doctor Who in this episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, that we do address that there. It also looks like the same tear in the atmosphere that was in Futurama.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
it does, doesn't it?
It does.
So it looks very much like that. So there's a tear there, and they realize that there's anomalies all through the whole lighthouse.
Right. Yeah. Well, eventually, because eventually people start seeing like characters that we haven't seen for a while, like Lash.
Mm-hmm.
And other things. So
Mike.
Yep. Yeah, because we get the return of Deathlock, although real Deathlock shows up later.
That's right.
So,
we see Mike as the ghost.
Mike as Mike.
Right.
Like when he was, because it was homage to episode 1. Because remember,
Mike was
their first case in the pilot. way back 5 years ago.
Yeah, Daisy brought Mike in as her first kind of trial bounty hunter run thing.
Yeah, this is back when Daisy was calling herself Sky. And,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm so glad we moved past that.
Me too.
But yeah, so Fitz believes that this terror is connected to a fear dimension.
Right.
And the dimension is reaching into their minds, finding their greatest fears, and physically manifesting them.
And there's a whole level 3 is all like sky and sun and park and stuff. And they're like, well, whose fear is that? And Deke is like, oh, bees and bugs and germs.
Well, yeah, apparently Deke hates the idea of a forest for some reason. Right. Maybe we'll find out why later. Well,
but he did say a little bit is that, there's scary things and
maybe it's just because he's never seen one, so he's kind of like fear of the unknown.
Sure. And germs and
the idea probably sounded really creepy toward him.
And scary.
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, they are
because he's a big old baby. That's why.
Right. And they are seeing these. And now we're getting why Coulson has been fatally injured. And this is great. And this is why I named this Ghosts of the Past. We learn, and this finally gets resolved.
Yes.
Why and what his deal was with Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Runner. Ghost Rider. His deal with Ghost Rider is...
Ghost Rider is like his brother. Ghost Rider's brother.
How cool am I? Yeah, Ghost Runner is his brother that rides a bicycle.
Is that like Ghost Star Runner?
Ghost Runner...
Yeah, strong bad.
Ghost Runner is his brother that does marathons.
I thought that was a pretty decent Homestar Runner, by the way.
It is a very good one.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyway, Ghost Rider. He made a deal with Ghost Rider, and the only reason he could take on the visage of Ghost Rider is because he's dying and that the alien DNA is disintegrating and all that stuff.
Right.
So
now, did you notice they connected this back to all the way to that bit where Coulson was impaled by Loki's scepter in the first Avengers movie.
Right. So full circle all the way back.
And who speculated that?
Yeah, you did.
I did.
That's right, because he got stabbed. And
I was like, oh, this is going to come into play. So apparently the Ghost Rider possession burned through whatever alien technology that Tahiti implanted him with to keep him alive.
Right.
After being stabbed. So essentially
that was the deal.
So it was holding Loki's scepter wound at bay.
Right.
And now it's not.
Right. Exactly right.
Clock is ticking, y'all.
Yep. So he reveals that to the team when they realize that they probably can't seal this breach without someone coming very close to sacrificing their life.
Right.
And so he says it has to be me because I'm dying anyway.
Right.
And they give him
and everybody's pissed off because Coulson did not tell them that he's dying, especially May. May's pissed off. Oh, and Daisy's taking it really hard too.
Right. Daisy's really pissed off.
Yeah. But she's more hurt than anything.
Hurt.
Because she doesn't want him to die. She sees him like her surrogate father that she never had. And
right.
So.
Right. And May is pissed off, but acting differently.
Yeah.
Joking about it a little bit. So this thing between you and me, it was just like a last ditch.
Because Philinda is strong.
I don't like it.
I love it.
I know you do.
I think those two are perfect.
When he dies.
Yep.
How are you going to feel about that now?
Well, May's going to go on like Wrath of Vengeance.
Right?
May, and that's
how many of her? She's a Black Widow, is what she is.
There's that too. Yeah, because
everybody she gets involved with dies.
Husband Andrew.
Lord Andrew.
Yep.
Coulson.
Yep.
Who else?
Doesn't have a good track record.
No, she does not.
Yeah.
So, okay. So he decides he's going to go, and they give him this little gadget to throw in there, and he sees Mike because, Mike was a failure. They, who was it? It wasn't Hive. It was the other agency. Stole him and turned him into Deathlock and...
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So, he feels like, Mike was a failure.
You mean Hydra?
Hydra, thank you.
You're welcome.
I couldn't think of it.
That's okay. Although we do see Hive in this episode.
We do see Hive, yes. Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
That's probably what I'm thinking.
So, yeah, there's lots of things that happen. And as he is, making his way down there, lots of things try and stop him along the way. But, of course, Mike is the strongest and closer to the end. And there are a few little sequences of him talking to Mike where Mike is apparently he has a lot of guilt over Mike, which is, I thought it was a very, very cool way to tie it back to the beginning.
Right.
And I do like that character. I like Deathlock.
Yeah,
now
I love the fact that they did go back to the first episode in this story.
It's very cool, and the fact that that character's still alive.
Yep,
that was good too. Because
for one, we haven't seen Deathlock forever, so that was cool to see him again.
It was
J. August Richards.
While Deke was doing his little thing, and he also Coulson, when he was talking to everyone, said, "You guys need to keep S.H.I.E.L.D. alive when I'm gone," and they were all really mad about that. So while Deke's up in the real world, in the non-upside down, as it were,
I see what you did there, Stranger Things.
In the right side up, he finds the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is this little merry band of brothers that Deathlock has kept together.
Right.
And they're landing this. I keep thinking Wave Rider. Why do I say Wave Rider every time?
Because that's on Legends of Tomorrow, and it kind of looks a little bit like a Wave Rider. No, you're thinking the Zephyr.
Thank you, the Zephyr. They land a Zephyr.
Yep.
Down in this. What is that? Is it water that comes down in?
Yeah.
Is it water?
It was really cool because it's got this underwater layer. Like a landing bay.
Yeah. It's very cool.
So it lowers, so then the sides are water streaming down.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's like a waterfall.
It's like a Batman, like he had something in the lake, and then it would be below, like this underground launching pad or whatever.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
So they land the Zephyr in there, in the lighthouse area, and they're the ones that come to save Coulson. It's Deathlock that goes in there. And so Deathlock and Coulson go in and they throw the little ball in, and this is where you see Hive coming at the last minute to try and stop everything.
Right.
And he does end up sealing the breach, and there's still little pieces here and there, and just long enough for them to hold an impromptu marriage.
Yeah.
In the upside down park.
You have this
really on level 3.
They have this really beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
So Coulson arranges this whole thing with Fitz, I think. And so they do this thing where Fitz is in a tuxedo, Gemma has a wedding dress, and you find out that Deke had gone for these wedding rings.
Yeah. And a dress.
Right. But interestingly enough, he found the rings, and then, hey, it looks like the one that his grandma used to have.
That's right.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's right. And he also found some sort of orange air freshener that he put on his tongue, and he didn't like it. And he relates the story that his mother would always find him an orange on his birthday, and So that's why he loves oranges. So we're getting little bits and pieces of his background. Also, he said he looked for Champag or whatever.
Yes.
But he couldn't find it, so he got Zima, which I love because he loves Zima.
Yeah,
now.
apparently Zima is his thing.
Yeah, because they gave him beer in that bar.
Yeah, he didn't like that.
Oh, is there something like this, but it tastes good?
This is the bar he totally stiffed, by the way, because he didn't pay.
I think they paid, though, when they came to get him out of jail. I think Daisy paid his bill.
One would hope.
Yeah, I hope so.
One would hope.
Okay, so I do like when they show up at the wedding and they're like bride side or groom side, and
Deke.
And Deathlock says, I know both of them, and then Deke says, I don't know either of them really well. And then we get a flash to a Hale, and her little lackey, and the lackey says, yeah, we got some DNA back on the guy, and she's talking about Deke, and his DNA matches 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and of course it's
Fitzsimmons. Yep. So apparently they're his ancestors, or
his
grandma and
grandpa.
So, and we forgot to mention that Coulson somehow got his ability to perform the ceremony. And,
oh, come on. Yeah. You can do that on the internet.
I know, but apparently, I just thought it was interesting. That it's like, okay.
Sure.
So suddenly he's officiating weddings.
Sure.
But whatever. So.
And it's probably not legal. It's, it's just them being married. They can go do that whenever.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they'll hit a justice of the peace or something.
Right.
Later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there were some scenes with Mac and Yo-Yo.
Yep.
Where Yo-Yo is recovering.
Right.
And man, she's really hurt.
Yeah, well, because having both her arms severed. Now,
and things are coming through.
Now, I was looking forward to that once she got her arms cut off because I've read the Secret Warriors comics by Jonathan Hickman, and I know that Yo-Yo Slingshot gets some bionic arms as replacements.
Right.
So I'm waiting for her bionic arm. So apparently she's going to go.
I'm assuming that fits, right?
One would think, unless she shops at the same place that Misty Knight is going to shop at for her bionic arm.
Well, there's that.
On Luke Cage.
But I'm assuming it's Fitz.
Yeah, presumably Fitz.
Because Fitz did the hand.
Fitz is the tech guy, yeah. Well, yeah, he created that hand for Coulson, so yeah. So everybody gets an artificial limb. You get an artificial
limb. You get a limb.
You get a limb. You get a bionic arm. You get a bionic arm.
I mean, she's not going to be happy, obviously, but
no, but at least she'll have something she can use, and
right.
She'll be like, "Well, I can't feel things or something," but with her hands. So, yeah. I hurt every time I see her now. Yeah.
After that scene.
But she will rebound if she just as she did in the comics.
She will yo-yo.
Yep, she will yo-yo. Oh, I see what you did there. I'm going to mark one up for Karen there in that one. That was good. All right.
She'll bounce back.
No, that's somebody else.
Well,
she'll snap back.
Oh, there you go.
See what I did there?
She'll reel it in.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Now you're getting it. Now you're cooking with gas.
So I really liked this episode. There were a few little things that I was like, okay, they're doing it because it's the 100th episode. Right. But
at least they tried to make this special.
I agree. And I love that they tied it back to the first episode. I love that they tied it back even further than that with Coulson. So overall, I thought it was great. Thank goodness we don't really have to worry about Fitz and Simmons not getting together anymore.
Right. Now, were you watching that wedding ceremony waiting for Simmons to collapse or disappear?
A monster to come and eat them, or
there would be a pit open up and suck them all down.
Because it's Fitz and Simmons.
Well, yeah, because they've played Lucy with a football for Charlie Brown over and over and over.
Too many
with these
times.
characters. Yes.
Yes.
So here, finally, they get them married. Thankfully, nothing happens.
Right.
So, hooray.
Can we stay that way?
But I was on pins and needles with that thing. I'm just like,
I was too.
I was just like, don't you do it. Don't you do it.
But the suspense during that was cutting away and seeing that Deke was their grandson.
Right.
So
Thankfully they didn't. So therefore I like this episode as well. And again, we're totally in sync this week.
Mm-hmm.
I give it 8.5 wedding rings.
Oh.
Long-awaited wedding rings, I might add.
Agreed. 5 years.
5 years of will they or won't they?
Well, I have to say this. I don't watch this show for the romance.
No, but this is,
But I'm glad. I'm very glad. It's overdue.
Yeah.
I give it 8.5 6-packs of Zima.
Yep.
I loved it. He held it up like 6. That'll do, right? For the whole wedding?
Yeah. I'm glad they did the wedding because since it's looking probably like we're not going to get a season 6 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No. Well, they did say that they wrote the last episode as a series finale.
Right, which is good.
Just in case.
Which is good. Now, they could always do a season 6.
Sure.
But I'm thinking Coulson's going to die in the final episode.
I think he probably will as well.
I think they're now just like, okay, we started the clock ticking. He's going to just struggle through this and just make it long enough for 10 more episodes to wrap up the show. The end.
That's my thought as well, is that he'll expire.
Because we don't need him in the Marvel movies anymore. So, although I am hoping he turns up in Avengers Infinity War.
Do you think?
I hope. He should.
Well, you'll find out tomorrow,
one thing,
right?
nobody else knows that. Yeah, that's true. We get a trailer again tomorrow, but nobody else knows that he's alive.
I know.
So that needs to be revealed.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be kind of a cool, like, F yeah moment if Coulson comes in with a big old gun and blows away, blows away Thanos or something,
Sure, that would be good.
I'm all for it.
People are saying they want the end of that movie to be that Galactus
Thanos
shows up.
Oh, Galactus!
No.
Galactus shows.
Yeah,
well,
the end of the movie.
That would be cool, but I don't think they're going to do anything with the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, at least until Phase 4.
I'm just saying people think that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be pretty awesome.
And then someone said, wouldn't it be funny if at the end of the movie Galactus shows up, eats Earth, and then just turns to the camera and goes...
Yeah. Well, first he would go like... and then...
and then winks at the camera and gives the finger guns.
Pew, pew. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye now.
Or give a thumbs up.
Yeah.
With this big old grin.
Yeah. That tasted good.
Yep. and then we have like... That's all, folks.
Yeah, exactly. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
That was on Nerdist News today.
Okay.
Their little their YouTube video thing.
Got it. Speculation of Galactus.
Right. And then they did the little thing of, hey, wouldn't it be funny if he showed up and it just ate the Earth? I thought it was funny.
That's funny.
Okay. So we both enjoyed everything equally this week.
We are
at least those 4.
We are of the same mind and body.
As usual. Well, mind at least.
Well, mind at least. God help us. All right. All right. God help you out there. All right. So we don't have any feedback this week, right?
Well, there was feedback, but my mail is a train wreck right now from everything going on. So can we just say that I had some technical difficulties this week?
Now, Justina, I do have your feedback, so don't think it languished in vain, because I've got your feedback that you sent on February 23rd and March 4th.
Okay. But send in more, please.
Yeah, so...
And by the way, Justina, I know you're not feeling well right now, so please feel better.
Yes, our thoughts are with you.
And also with you. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I
Don't
thought there
make
was.
light of this. I'm trying to be like, all
She knows already.
Justine in her thoughts. Well, she doesn't know it from me.
Okay, so
there you go.
All right.
I'm passing along my kind thoughts.
All right.
Yeah.
So Charles says, "Get well soon."
Yes.
And I do too, Justina.
Get well
because
soon.
a sick Justina is a bad Justina.
Yep.
And I want to
a sick Justina makes for an unhappy Phantom Zone podcast.
That's right. I want my
we want everybody's favorite butterfly out there flying.
That's right. I want all my emojis back.
Yep.
I missed them.
All right.
So yeah. Justina, get well.
Please
Everybody send her good wishes.
The positive vibes.
That's
Pew,
right. Bye.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
All right.
All right.
So where can they find us, Karen?
They can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast. They can send email at fandomzonecast@gmail.com. They can listen and subscribe to us in Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, because the more that happens, the easier we are to find for other people.
Yes, yes.
And on Twitter, we are at Fandom Zonecast. On Twitter, I am also at Aliveria or at Ali's_stuff.
Yes, yes.
And there's a link in my bio there to my blog where you can find all my other links and a lot of book posts lately.
And then are there new links to like your Nice Girls and all that?
Links to all my blogs, links to your blog, links to all the blogs I follow.
You're kind enough to do that.
That's right. Links to all your podcasts as well.
All 5,000 of them? Yes. Yeah.
That's right. Links to podcasts that I think are interesting, links to other blogs that I think are interesting. But on my main page there, the landing page that you go to, that's where all the links are for me. So all you have to do is go to my Twitter machine.
I hope you appreciate my shirt this week. I forgot to
Strategic
mention.
Homeland Intervention Enforcement Logistics Division.
This is my S.H.I.E.L.D. shirt.
Oh, your S.H.I.E.L.D. shirt.
I wore my S.H.I.E.L.D. shirt in honor of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s 100th episode. I forgot to mention that.
Nice.
So.
I wore a tie-dye shirt because I had to take pictures.
Because you're all hippie.
Yeah. I had to take pictures for something.
She's a hippie chick.
Something exciting I might talk about at some point in the future.
Ooh, yeah. I know what it is.
I know
it is.
But I can't talk about it yet.
She might be on... Oh, I can't talk about it.
I can't talk about it.
Yep.
N and a D and an A.
Sir. She's filled with secrets.
Yeah, I have many secrets, and they're all in my hair, so...
Yep.
Okay. And where can they find you, Charles?
They can find me.
Moving on quickly.
Yes. On the Twitter machine, at Charles Skaggs, or on the Instagram, at Charles Skaggs. Google Plus for crazy kids on the Google Plus. Facebook, of course, at Charles Skaggs. And my blog of geeky things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
I was ready.
You were on it. I wasn't sure if you had it.
That was my very on it outfit.
You were on it.
I did a line from Preacher.
Yep. So,
on it outfit.
Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about all the things that we talk about here on the Phantom Zone podcast and more, including like, the new James Bond film that's coming out, and who the director of that is, and all kinds of news about Titans. And there's a lot of news about Titans and all kinds of stuff. So, comic books, sci-fi, you name it. If I'm interested in it, it's there. And then there's my other podcast I do for the Southgate Media Group, Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast that I do with friend of the show, Jesse Jackson. Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast that I do with Zan Sprouse, wife of comic book artist Chris Sprouse. And Titan Talk, the Titans podcast, which is finally available on the interwebs. We are free, so we have our first 3 episodes up. Please check that out, because Jesse Jackson of Next Stop Everywhere fame and I do our reviewing. We're basically setting the table, building up to the upcoming release of Titans, the DC Comics upcoming digital series, their first live-action series. So obviously we're both big Titans fans from back in the day, and this was a podcast that we had to do. We were dying to do this, so we did. And this is a very special pet project, just like Ghostwood for me. And I hope you guys check it out. So check out Titan Talk, the Titans podcast. Obviously, I've got all the links to that on my blog, Damn Good Coffee and Hot, or on Facebook or Twitter or what have you. So please check it out. I hope you do.
I liked it. I listened to the intro.
Did you
episode.
Yeah.
I liked it very much.
Did you like our spiffy theme?
You guys were very cute together. I enjoyed the whole thing from beginning to end.
Well, thank you. And, we appreciate that. So thank you for your support.
You're welcome.
And then you're welcome anytime if you want to ever talk some Titans, especially when the show comes out.
I will be happy to come on once the show comes out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we understand, because right now we're kind of like we released the first 3 episodes, but we're going to do it every month, building until the show comes out. Then we'll probably do weekly. So, yep. So please check that out. And please come on back for more Fandom Zone, guys. Because, we're kind of see what our best of the week episodes are next week. I'm kind of thinking that, well, let's see. Let's see, what was really stood out this past week?
I don't know yet.
Maybe Legends of Tomorrow, or
maybe. Legends was okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So
nothing's jumping into my head right now.
Maybe iZombie. We haven't talked about that for a while.
I haven't even watched them yet.
Oh, really? No, it's been good. It's been good.
Okay, good.
It's been good. So
well, I've been like super catching up.
I understand. You've had some issues, so we let it slide. So
okay.
So everybody come on back for was it episode 132 next time? 132,
and hopefully by then we will have a Jessica Jones special episode out as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. So everybody stay tuned, and we'll see you next time right here on the Phantom Zone podcast. Bye, everybody.
Wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow.